Everybody. I'll first add a few words to what Dr. Dror said about JPMorgan in the morning, and I'll explain what we're doing here in Israel. So JPMorgan is obviously a very prominent financial institution. Many people say the leading bank in the world. Several years ago, understood that Israel has a lot of innovation technology that JPMorgan can utilize. First, getting top developers that we are hiring and increasing our staff daily. Many aspects, I encourage you to look for things that we're doing. On the other hand, working with the ecosystem, trying to build or to bring in the best possible innovation, external innovation from the outside to work within JPMorgan. Products, services, technologies. We also invest in the better ones. I'm proud to invite some of the industry leaders of financial services and tech, or fintech to be exact, to join me in the panel. First, Dror Yosef, CDO and General Manager Israel at Fundbox. Please applause. Second, Eran Bielski, General Partner at Entrée Capital. Anat Avni, Director of Innovation at Menora, Mivtachim Insurance. Meirav Harel, Head of Strategic Innovation Technologies at BDO. And Michal, Henn, AI and Automation Lead, Global Business Services at IBM Israel. So I encourage you, everybody, to feel free. I'll ask some questions, some interesting questions that I thought would be interesting for the crowd, because AI is definitely, we're seeing it throughout the world. AI is very dominant now in the financial services. Many industries, but financial services is being affected tremendously. So each and every one of you, if you think you want to answer any of the questions, feel free, right? All right, so the name of the panel is AI, the biggest disruptor in financial services. Do you agree?
So, first of all, hello everyone, I'm Dror, I'm the Chief Data Officer at Fundbox. In one short sentence, what is Fundbox? So, we are an AI-enabled credit platform that gives SMBs, small businesses, access to capital and accelerate B2B commerce at scale. So we are around 200 employees in 2 sites in San Francisco and Tel Aviv, and raised around $140 million in order to do all this stuff. And going to the question, I think that AI is disrupting a lot of industries, and one of them is the financial industry, which is very, it's an old industry that accompanies us as a society for a lot of time. And the digital revolution of having data around and more accessible and more, we can more digest it, and then therefore it gives us a lot of opportunities how to disrupt the way the banks or the financial institutes works until now. And at Fundbox, what we did an example of what we did at Fundbox is we took the application process of small businesses in order to get credit, which is, we are working on it in the United States. So in the United States, it's a process that takes between few days to few weeks to process, and it's involved with a lot of tax forms and a lot of forms that you need to fill out. And we did it, and what we do today, because we do it only with data and only with machine learning, without any manual intervention, it takes around 40 seconds to do that.
Thank you. Well, I was kind of debating about that when I saw the question, is AI the biggest disruptor in finance? And well, you know what, I'm not completely sure, and that depends where AI is going to take us. Okay? Because if we're looking at what's happening in the financial industry and in the financial sector at all, we're seeing that the disruptions are happening on, I'd say, in the basic paradigms of everything that has to do with finance, including what is money and who created money and who can create money. So saying that only AI is the biggest disruptor, I'm not sure, because if the foundation of what money is changing, then that's kind of like more basic. But if I do look at what AI can do, I think that it does have the potential to be very disruptive in a way that it could enable the players in the financial field to use one of the biggest assets that they have, which they're not using, which is the data. Okay? And if you're looking at saying, okay, the financial services have been working for the last 150 years, or even more than that, with commissions and people paying for the service, AI, if it's going to be used in order to create value from the data and use that as a new kind of business model, then we are going to be seeing a change, I'd say, in the financial system that is very deep, because the whole business model is going to be changing. So that's where I could say, yes, there is a very big potential of change there. I'm not sure, though, if it's going to be the biggest one ever.
What else? What's the biggest, if you...
The biggest? Do you want to talk about something else?
No, not something else, but, just a point.
Well, we're at the point in history where basic paradigms about what money is are changing. And I mean, well, this is, I hope nobody's bored about me saying this again, but the idea is this: until now, we're used to seeing money being created by countries, right, by governments. And right now, we're at the point where technologically, any one of us sitting here in this room could create money, okay? Now, we're not doing that yet because I don't think humanity has created the business model that goes with that. But it's kind of like the day before YouTube, right? Before YouTube, nobody could put, like a small amount of people could put videos up, right? The moment after YouTube was created, anybody could put videos up. But at that point, at that changing point, all of us were asking ourselves, who's going to watch 10-minute movies that a 10-year-old or somebody else made, and then Kim Kardashian, right? So right now we're at the point where the technology exists, where any one of us could create money, but we don't know why to do that. But the moment that people are going to understand that there's a business model in it, and the next Kim Kardashian in the point of creating money is going to be around, then I guess then that's going to be a major change. Think about macroeconomics. All of the models that we know in finance are going to be changing because the amount of money, that there's so much to say about this. I don't want to take the panel. Sure. So there are a lot of things that could affect finance as a whole. AI is one of them. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So first of all, I'm from Entrée Capital. We're a global fund with headquarters in Israel, actually investors in Fundbox, Series B and C, so everything he says is true. Regarding, so is AI going to disrupt financial services? I don't think so, at all. AI is nice, it helps, it does predictions, it increases the credit model, but if you look at Fundbox, for example, and their why now, it wasn't AI, it was about having data that you didn't have in the past, that you can underwrite risk that financial institutions cannot. And AI sort of came after that. If you look at Riskified, another portfolio company doing AI to find fraudulent transactions online, then again, first the data, then the machine learning. Could you do it with linear tools before machine learning? Probably. Is it enhancing? Yeah, so it's 20% better, it's 30% better, but it's not disrupting. Regarding your very interesting question on what is, so for fintechs, I actually think it's regulation. So yeah, the technology to make money is here, but nobody can do it. So, look at stuff like PSD2 and how governments are slowly going to banks and saying, okay, you're not going to do this anymore, and you're not going to do this anymore. And that's where I find disruption in saving, in mortgages, in banks. Are banks going to look the same once they strip their ability to do anything except literally hold your money and loan to it on a ratio of 1 to X? That's, I think, is the biggest change we're going to see.
Hi, my name is Anat Avni, and I'm the Director of Innovation at Menora Mivtachim. Last year, we launched and branded Fintech, which is the Menora's division of innovation, through a long process of understanding of how to make open innovation within a large insurance company. and I believe we have learned endless insights since then. To your question, I do think it's big disruptive. I think that AI technology will be will make a significant change, and in lots of fields we can find it. It will replace simple practices and will bring about real revolution.
So I would ask, this is a question referred to some of you, how is your company or field utilizing AI? What are you doing?
Yeah, okay. My name is Michal, and I'm leading the AI and automation group in IBM services. So we're doing that for many of our FSS clients, financial services, and not just in that industry. I think nowadays companies are beyond the, okay, what's big data? How do we leverage the data? To what do we actually do with it? I have some of my clients here with us. And yes, the best client. But we see actual implementations of not just machine learning, but also AI-based solutions, automations, not just robotics, but also text analytics, smart chatbots that are based on natural language processing. I know these are solutions that we've heard of a few years back, but now we actually see that come to play in the market, changing how clients interact with us, changing how our skill set, within the company looks like, how our workforce, what are they doing, how decisions are being made. And I do think now Industry 4 is taking us to a much more advanced, very pragmatic place. So we see that around Israel and the globe.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, so at Menora Mivtachim, we work with AI, mostly with claims and analytics. The more we know about our customers, the less we have to ask them questions, the less likely to offer them products and services they don't need. So I think that a process that can be very interesting for AI insurance company will be the underwriting, which is the process that haven't been changed for many years. We always use the same set of questions, even though the information available is greatly. So today, insurance company can shorten the underwriting process while using all this information inside and outside the company, and make the process seamless, and at the same time will manage the risks better. For example, if I know that a customer of us he lives a healthy lifestyle, that he trains, that he work out regularly, I know that the risk is low, and I can offer him affordable policy. Similar to that, if we're talking about car insurance, if I know that the customer is a cautious driver, again, I can offer him a great policy.
So
because
you're talking about connected cars?
And not just, but also dongles and other implementation. And yes, these are technologies that I can monitor and learn the driver behavior or the customer behavior or way of life. So yes, it gives me to manage my risk better. It gives the customer a value because he will not pay for something he doesn't need. And this is, I think, the place where AI can really be significant for an insurance company.
I'd like to tell, okay, I didn't introduce myself. For those who don't know me, I'm Meirav Harel. I'm the head of strategic innovation at BDO. And how we come and help is in a certain way, because if you look at AI, you can see that most of the companies or the financial institutes that are using it are actually the bigger companies that are developing it in-house. And we see that in the big banks, in mostly the international ones. And what we're seeing is that smaller companies are kind of left behind because they don't have the capacity and the ability to create in-house AI capabilities. And what they need to be doing is actually buying it from startups or from other companies from the outside. Now, one of the problems with buying, and a lot of my colleagues can state to this, that one of the problems with working with startups from outside of your company is that the success rate is only 55%, okay, statistically. And that means that you're kind of wasting your energy on trying to bring innovation in. And so where we come in is that we help bring that percentage higher. And we help the companies come and bring in the AI, whether it's working with AI on customer facing with chatbots or with internal processes that you need to come and make better. We help the big company, the medium-sized companies, I'd say, because the big ones have it in-house, do it in a more methodological way and systematically bring in the startups and help them build their capacity inside.
So I can say what we are doing. So the basic is what we are trying to do, where we're using AI is trying to bring the best user experience to our customers. So we try to locate this, at what point we have struggles with how we deliver the user experience and try to see how we can increase the better experience for our customers. And it starts from the underwriting that already talked about insurance. It's also true for lending money that we need to underwrite, but it also tells about the top of the funnel, how we bring customers in, which customer we bring in, which is most suitable for our platform. It also talks about the user experience in the onboarding process, how to deliver a more smooth and seamless experience there. It's also about when the user interacts with our platform, how can we do a better job to suit the best experience for this customer, what he needs at that time, in what we can offer.
Great. Do any of you see any constraints in utilizing AI in their company or field?
עוד לא למדנו מה עובד ומה לא. Sure, I can mention lots of them, but I will mention, I think, two. One of them will be the risk management. If in the past the one who put the limit was the regulation, so today I think the risk management is the one who put the limitation, and this is because we have to balance between the integration with advanced tools like AI, which requires implementation in the cloud, and to be fast and to be agile and to be competitive and to bring high value to our customers and give him the personal attention, versus our duty to keep the customers' data safety. Because this is what we are doing, this is our main business, and we cannot take chances here. So we find ourselves managing risks in every single day.
On top of what Anat said, I think, on top of what Anat said, and yes, data privacy is an issue, and we also deal with European clients, so we see the GDPR kicking in. I think regulation that was mentioned here before is still a disabler. In many cases, we are prevented from implementing cloud-based services that are the higher end of AI, at least in our case, with local clients. Another thing is internal politics, change management, everything that has to do with humans. Working in a workplace and the internal resistance, even if you have a very good solution, many of these organizations are used to working in a certain way. Okay, one of the worst sentences I hear is, "This is how we do things around here." Okay, and yes, change management is a key component in any of these projects. Just
Say in any kind of innovation, right?
Definitely. And it's a disruptor within the company, from within. So you need to know. Exactly.
I would like to add something. I mentioned two limitations, and one was the risk management, and the other is that, and this is very, I think, specific for insurance company or other big enterprise, it's that not all the legacy systems can connect with AI technologies. Our legacy systems are old, and sometimes it's not easy, and it's very challenges and sometimes complicated, and it's decrease the reliable of the our core system, and also decrease the ROI. So I think this is very important to mention.
I would add something more. JPMorgan is, I think, is the only financial institution in the world that has recently started a pure research organization for AI. We brought in a superstar in the AI world, a professor from Carnegie Mellon, and we are researching, academic researchers in AI, things that are constraints to use neural networks and deep learning, like explainability. These are things that, when we reach that certain level of technology, I think we'll see a lot of disruption over there. Anyway, and by the way, JPMorgan Israel is also part of that group. We're building in a Center of Excellence for Data Science and AI. One is in the applicability side, right? Algorithms for predefined problems, and the other is pure research. So we're hiring. Anyway, I'll jump into a question that was sort of tackled upon before, but I think it's interesting, workforce. So many people think that, you know, humans will be replaced by robots. Any type of automation has always been coupled with fears of mass unemployment or social unrest. Everybody remembers that in the 19th century, the second industrial revolution brought about such fears and uncertainty. And in the end, it led to the greatest economic boom in history. The late 20th century aroused similar fears given the proliferation of IT, especially the personal computer. Again, in the end, it only led to further economic growth and human progress. Is the AI revolution, particularly in tandem to the emergence of technologies like blockchain, quantum computing, IoT, and cloud computing, different? I would add also that previously we talked about the autonomous economy, which sort of wraps all of the MTechs, or emerging techs, and sort of sees how they all play along together, right? So this is part of it, and it has a lot of application on workforce as well. Go ahead.
So, yeah, it's my 2 cents on that is like the question of disruption. AI is a layer to enable a lot of people to do what they do more efficient. If you look at fields that are completely replacing people, you could look at RPA. So robotic process automation. Now, RPA started years before the ImageNet moment, and it's going to continue. Is it getting better? Is it getting faster? Yeah. But there are a few positions that are going to vanish. Bookkeeping, if there's any bookkeepers in the audience, I'm sorry, but that's probably not going to stay. Because even today with OCR, you can get really, really high results. And once you train the model, just to input the data from the receipts and categorize them, it's pretty much there. But the accountant, so he'll still be around. So not going to replace massive amounts of people, but probably going to make people more efficient, and a few positions are going to vanish. Yeah.
I would like to, this kind of like relates to what you said earlier about having one of the biggest barriers to bringing in innovation into companies is the human factor, is the employees. And that kind of, you can see that a lot in the financial services, I think, that they've been hiring for a century and a half at least, a certain type of typecast of employees, which are good people, okay? They're very reliant, they're hard workers, but that's not necessarily what you need right now in the new environment. That's why you guys are hiring AI scientists and other types of typecasts that could create the value that the company needs to the future where we're going. So I would answer your question and say that it's not that there are going to be less jobs. It's just that the typecast of profiles for the jobs is going to be different. And there could be even more jobs later on, like we saw in the other revolutions, but they're not going to be the same set of skills that were needed until now. And that's where kind of, I think the nice thing about humans is that they have the ability to learn. And it's not like if you've been an accountant or a bookkeeper for the first, I don't know, what, 20 years of your life, it doesn't mean that you can't do something that's going to be relevant for the next 40 years of your career. So yes, jobs are going to be changing, and people that are not going to be able to adapt to change are going to be in trouble, which also happened, by the way, in those earlier revolutions. So that's how I see it. It's just going to be a shift from one type to another type, and people can have the ability to adapt and be relevant even in the future.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I thought about it when I have my first kid. Like, I have 3 kids, and I think about what they'll do when they grow up, and then I realized that I cannot really know, because the working environment is changing all the time, and I think it's going to change a lot because of the revolution we're seeing now. And one thing we learned from the history that every revolution just shifts from the way what we did as a human beings, what we did and what we are doing now, and we always as a human society, we learn new things that will develop us into a new era, until an utopian world when the computers will also invent the problems and not only the solutions.
And then we'll be on vacation.
And then we'll be all on vacation, and then I don't know what will happen, but that's a very futuristic place. But until then, I think the humans will find the new works, the new jobs that they need the human to do, and it's going to be changing. I don't know what will be the future for my kids.
All right, guys, we're out of time. I would like to thank each and every one of you, Michal, Anat, Eran, Dror, and Meirav. It was very eye-lighting.